Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another week, another bid vid. I hope all's good. If you saw last week's video, you may remember that I was talking about moving forward and leaving the genres behind for a little bit and having a look at something else. So here we are, the first week I'm going to be looking at stuff that's off the kit. And what do I mean by off the kit? Well, it's stuff that you have to do, it's preparation. And like anything, preparation is really important. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail, as they say. So the first thing I'm going to look at this week is something that comes with every single module, I think, pretty much. And that's equalization, EQ. With the lower end kits, it just comes in possibly 2 or 3 bands, which is low, mid and high. With the more highbrow kits, more expensive ones, you can then go in and you can start choosing what actual frequencies you want to apply to that sound, which is pretty cool. And those 3 bands you can affect to each sound as you go along. But you might be saying, what are those 3 bands? Low, mid and high. And what is the frequency audio spectrum? So I'm going to try and demystify some of that for you and hopefully explain it in a way that you're going to understand. The low band usually goes from 20 Hertz up to 500 Hertz. You then have the mid range from 500 to 4K. And then the high range goes from 4 kilohertz up to 20 kilohertz, which makes the whole audio spectrum that we hear, human beings hear, go from 20 hertz up to 20,000 kilohertz. That's the full audio spectrum. But again, if you think cymbals, oh, I want to make them brighter, sure, go to that top end, go to that 4 to 20K. But if you want to add body, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go to that high end. You want to be hitting it around that mid range. 500 hertz up to the 1.5, 2K maybe. You might want to go a little bit higher up to the 4K. You know, that's where the body of most of this stuff is. And by tweaking and adding and taking away from those frequencies, you're going to start manipulating the sound in a way that is going to be more pleasing to you, hopefully, and also the listener. So let me demonstrate. Here I've got the DTX 900M. I've just got a simple kick drum up. Okay, so I want to add some bottom end to that kick drum. I just want to give it a little bit of weight. So I'm going to go over to my module. I'm going to choose a frequency because I can on this. I'm going to choose a frequency of around about 250 hertz. Okay, and I'm going to add the gain on that. So there you go. This is it without. That's it. Just flat, and this is it added. If I want to add a bit of click to that, I don't want to be messing around in that low end. I want to be looking at the top of the mid range, maybe going into the highs, just to add some click to the front of it. So let's have a look. Let's go to 4K, and let me just turn some of that up. Again, this is it without, and this is it with. I'll keep tapping it as I add it. Can you hear? Right at the front, the attack, you're just getting a bit more of a click going on there. And that's about 4K. And if I go to the mids, and if I push the mids around 1K, let's see what happens there. That's it with nothing. And now I'm going to start adding those mids. So once again, you can hear that it's having an effect on that kick drum. And that's what EQ does. It starts bringing out those frequencies to allow you to draw certain elements of a sound out. One thing you mustn't do with EQ, I must say this now, don't use it as volume. EQ is not a volume. EQ is all about designing those sounds and getting the right frequencies to pop out of the sounds that you're playing. If you start using it as a volume control and boosting volumes, you're going to start getting into all sorts of trouble. So never use it as a volume control. So there you go. Now all I'm doing here is I'm boosting, I'm adding stuff. Don't forget you can cut stuff, you can take stuff away as well. For instance, if a kick drum is booming too much, you need to cut some of those frequencies that I was talking about from 20 hertz up to 500 hertz. Find the frequency that's offending. You find it by boosting it. and make the shelf that you're working with quite hard. You know, as soon as you find that frequency that is sticking out and causing problems, just cut, invert it, so you get rid of that frequency, you know? And you do that with all your sounds, with your snares, your toms, your cymbals, whatever it is. If you're working on guitars and you're going down that route as well, some of the samples that you might be firing up, invert that shelf, you know, the peak, make it a trough so you can get rid of those elements. And that is the start of messing about with EQs. There's obviously a whole heap more to it than that. That's just scratching the surface. Like anything that I do in these videos, you can't do it all in 5-10 minutes. But I'm hoping that's going to give you a little bit of an insight as to what's going on and how you can get involved with EQ. It's a wonderful thing, a really handy thing. And if you're beginning to sound design and you're beginning to use samples and make your own sounds, and you want to start triggering sounds and stuff like that, and when you're feeling that it's not quite right, EQ, it's your friend. Don't forget that. You know, and once you get the basics down, there's loads of stuff online which will show you even more about what the frequencies are. Once you start playing with it, messing about with it, you really can start having fun and create some awesome, unique and creative sounds which will be yours if you're creating them. And that's so important. You get your sound together, people will want to hire you. People will want you to be part of their projects because you've got your sound together and you understand sound, you know? And I keep saying it, in this day and age, I genuinely feel it's just not good enough to be on top of your playing. I think you've got to be on top of your sound as well, especially if you're using electronics, because they're turning to you to say, hey, what have you got? What have you got in your sound banks? What sounds have you got? If you've got a load of sounds that are yours, boy, you're ahead of the game, big time. So there you go. I hope that's a little insight into EQ and what can be done. Thanks for watching. Tune in again for another Off the Kit video where I'll be talking about other things that you need to get your head around or that are going to help you sort samples and sounds out for you to play on your electronic drum kit. If you're at YouTube watching this, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment as well. If you've got any questions, don't forget to jot them down and get them over to me. If you're on Facebook, do the same. Leave a comment, hit the like button. Yep, if you've got any questions or suggestions, if you want me to show anything, then write it down, let me know, and I'll do my best to cover it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for another Off the Kit. Take it easy until then, guys. All the best. Bye.